You back to my days when I was growing up as a young man. I grew up in the rural Kenya, and when I was young, one of the economic activities we used to do was the issue of tilling the land that my dad and my mom had. And every time that we were to prepare the land for planting, my mother used to insist on one thing: the issue of digging up a certain grass that was growing in our area. And she didn't care so much about how far you dug, but she was so much concerned with the issue of how thorough you were in digging up this glass. And she insisted that go down and dig up, even if you do a very small portion, just make sure that you do it thoroughly. And it is when I look back into what my mother was doing that makes me, or that informs me of how my mother used to make her land productive. She knew that there is an enemy that would make probably her destined crop fail if it is not dealt with. And I am talking to us here, and some of us reasoning are parents, others are brothers, others are sisters, uncles, employers, and members of the communities, leaders of the community. And in our community, there is an issue that is troubling, I think, every family. There is an issue that is troubling every member of the community. And I am talking about the issues of drug and substance abuse. I want to believe when I talk about issues of drug and substance abuse, you know somebody who is struggling. Right now, even as you listen to me, as you look at me, there is somebody you know. And I am calling back that person to your mind, because I want us to think about that person today. When you look at that person who is struggling with the issue of drug and substance and alcohol, maybe abuse and addiction, that person, he was not born drunk. He was not born an addict. He grew up, and when he was young, he used to say, when I grow up, I want to be. And I don't remember, or I don't think that that person used to say that when I grow up, I want to be hanging out in some places and chewing mirror with my friends, or I would want to grow up and become the alcoholic that you see hanging out and being everywhere all around, misbehaving, looking dirty, looking unkept, looking malnourished and all that. And that's the person I want us to look at and consider the issues of drug abuse, because this is like the grass I was talking about. Because so many young people, so much potential, so much of capacity and ability has been rendered useless by the issues of drug and substance abuse. And what are we doing to address it today? And that is what I want us to address today. And I say that there is the biopsychosocial aspect of drug abuse. In other words, there is something that in our bodies that makes some people more susceptible or more vulnerable to the issues of becoming addicts to whichever drug of choice. There are some psychological, especially maybe depending with how you were brought up and the things that you were told, things you are not told, things that has happened around you, how you think about yourself, socially relating to people that you grew up with, and the class of the class of your social class. Maybe if you are born poor, if you are born rich, if you are whatever you were born, the biopsychosocial aspect of your life, it affects who you become and how you become, and especially in relation to the issue of drug and substance abuse. In the Kenyan culture, there is an issue of, and especially when it comes to the male child or the boy child, there is the issues of initiation or the issue of circumcision. And when somebody goes through the issue of circumcision, they are considered to be mature. They are considered to be grown up, which I think it is far from the truth. Because if yesterday I was immature by the fact that I had not been cut, and then I am cut today, And then you think that by cutting a piece of my body and throwing it away, I have become a mature person. That, I think, it is a very misplaced way of thinking about issues of what is maturity, because maturity happens over time, and it happens as a result of a very consistent and constant process that build these persons towards the issue of maturity. And therefore, when this young person assumes that because the whole community assumes that I am mature, I am also now mature, I can engage into what mature people do, which is also misplaced by the fact that young people think mature people should engage into issues of drugs. That is where we get so many things wrong. I usually say initially the issue of using drugs is a matter of personal choice that is informed by so many factors. The moment you decide, maybe a young person decide, I am going to try out alcohol, I am going to try out bang, I'm going to try a cigarette, I am going to try out marijuana, I'm going to try out the issue of injecting whichever drug, or use of the any psychoactive drug that they use. It is a personal choice that is facilitated by a certain process. There is always things around. There is always somebody who will have used or inspired or have misled this particular individual. There will be issues of peer pressure. As much as the choice is by the user, there are so many factors that lead towards the use of that first time. And no matter why or how this young person uses these drugs, as maybe in the first instance, if the behavior is not stopped by whatever reason or by whatever circumstance, and this particular individual continue to use this drug, it is a matter of time, because all these drugs have a certain chemical in them. There is ethanol in alcohol, there is tetrahydrocannabinol in marijuana, there is cathinol in miraa, there is all these drugs that when they get into the body, they react in our body, and they adjust especially how the brain works. And once hooked up, quitting is not a matter of choice. Quitting is not a matter of choice, because once you have been addicted to a drug, you no longer use it because you want, you use it because your body demands you must give it to it. Drug use becomes also a progressive process. It's something that is growing, just like a tree grows, just like a child grows, addiction grows. And how much you are using today is not how much you'll be using next year. And 10 years to come, how much you are using today is not what you'll be using then, because it is progressive. Drug use adjusts the body's physiological functionality and adjusts especially how the brain works. And as we know, the brain is the engine of the body. And when the engine is affected, definitely the whole body is affected. Drug use tend to increase the risks of getting mental sickness. And is the reason as to why the issue of there are so many people. And I want to believe you pay attention in your neighborhood, in your city, in your streets, you realize that there are so many people, young people, walking around with issues of mental sickness. And right before, when you compare the numbers of you will not walk down 100 meters, and probably if it is in the cities, without finding somebody who is struggling with a mental sickness. Some are young, others are just across all ages, across all gender, because issues of drug use tend to increase risks of getting mental sickness. When drug use progresses into addiction or dependency, quitting becomes very difficult. And this is something that, my listener, I want you to understand, that sometimes we threaten and we give all manner of threats to the people who are victims of issues of drug abuse, asking them and shouting at them and doing all manner of things, but it is very, very difficult for them. It's like somebody asking you to quit sleeping. It's like somebody threatening you that you don't take water for 1 week because your body uses water. Your body needs sleep. Your body uses food, but it does not produce these things. You must give it. And it's the same way that the body uses the chemicals that are in drugs after it has been introduced to these things and given this thing for quite some time. It requires these things, and the only way it can be able to get them or have access to them is by being given those things. Once addicted, dependent, or hooked, it is not voluntary to quit. I said at the beginning that the first initial engagement into issues of drug abuse is a voluntary action. It is something that you make a choice about. But quitting, it is not just something we wake up in the morning and say, I quit from today. And I am saying it's not when you are an abuser, but if you are addicted, because that is a very key word. When you are addicted, it's no longer an issue of I want to quit right now. I hear now and right now quit and I go home and I am free. It might be a little bit more harder than that. Once addicted, attempts to quit are thwarted by severe withdrawal symptoms because the body reacts when you don't give it what it has been used to. It is very important for me to mention and to put this one across to us that I want to believe so many of us and maybe listening or somebody you know could be struggling with issues of drug and substance abuse. And let's think about it right now. Another year of this person that you are thinking about continuing in engagement with this drug, it will not make him any better person. Another 1 extra month, another 5 years of abusing this drug, that person you are thinking about continue using these drugs, for sure this person will not become better. It's not just an issue that gets better with time, it only gets worse with time. And we are looking at a time when our young people, they are developing, they are learning, and they are interacting with environment around them, and there is so much that they need to learn, and the sources of where they are running from is also another very disturbing factor, because some of them, they will learn from their peers, others they will learn from the internet, and we know that the peers and the internet, they have all sorts of unsolicited information that our developing young people might not know what exactly is it that they are taking in. And I am I am recommending some solution on what we can be able to do that especially for us as who are parents and who are guardians. One of the things that we can be able to do to mitigate against the issues of drug abuse for now and even in the future is the issue of creating relationship with our children. Creating relationship with our children. You look at me and you ask me, it's like I am too busy and I don't have time to sit around and talk with them, because it's like I got to go out and look for food and look for house and look for wealth. And I agree 100%. These things we have to do them, but what will it benefit you when you have gone out there and brought home all the money and then you realize you were looking for all these things for your children, but they are not there because they have been taken away by issues of drug and substance abuse? Everything that you did when you could have maybe balanced this thing, and I think that's the word I want to put across here, the issue of balancing, the issue of looking for all these things, running our businesses and building our careers and traveling and doing whatever it is that we need to do. But at the same time, we also need to know that we will never delegate the issue of parenting or being effective guardians to our children. So the issue of creating relationship with our children is very important. Why do I talk about issues of creating relationship? Because when you have a relationship with your child, you can always be able to talk about what is going on. You will have a platform to tell them about issues to do with life. You can be able to explain to them about how things work. You can be able to tell them about your own experiences in life. You can be able to maybe get into their world. They can ask you questions. And definitely, especially when our children are young, they believe that you are the most rich person, although you are not. They believe you are the strongest, although you are not. They think that you are the most informed, although you are not. That belief in you is what we want to capitalize on as we build a relationship with our children. When our children get into the issues of teenage, and maybe you have them in your house, but you have not created a relationship with them, this is also the best time for you to create a relationship with them. They are looking for a role model. They are looking for somebody who can tell them, this is not the way, this is the way. They have fears of their own. And sometimes I hear people say the children of these days. It is not the children of these days, it's the circumstances around the children of these days that drain them of ideas on what else can I be able to do apart from what everybody else is doing. And if you are a parent, or if you are a guardian, you are a reader, you have been entrusted with the issue of taking care of the young people, just know that even the teenage that we have, it's only that they get more of influence from their peers. But if they have a more credible source for what they need to know, what they are craving for, the issue of somebody to affirm them and somebody to guide them and to give them a source of information that they are looking for. I have been amazed at some of them, sitting with them and just having a moment to interact with them and find out that they were just looking for somebody who can guide them and who can be able to give them the unconditional attention. That is, you are not in a hurry, you are not blaming them, you are not judging them, you are not condemning them. Just sit there and listen to their stories and their experiences. And there are those of us who could be struggling, and now they are like, you now know that your child is in drugs. They are using drugs. They have it is confirmed. If you run a drugs test on them, definitely you realize that they are on drugs. And now you are so angry, you are so mad because you don't know what to do. And I am here to give you a solution. I am here to suggest to you on a few things that you can be able to do, that quitting on your child and threatening them and giving ultimatums and thinking of kicking them out of your house because they have let you down or they have not, all those things, they are not going to give us an answer. If you have fallen down, the issue of condemning me because I have fallen down or you have fallen down is not the issue. The issue is I am down, and the issue is how do I get up? We can then look at what happened for me to have fallen, but don't condemn me when I am on the ground. Let's get up first, and let us then look at, was there something that was on my way that made me fall, and that kind of a thing. You have somebody who is you have a young one who probably is at the experimental or the casual or the compulsive, or even if it is the addiction stage, and maybe some of them are not your children. They could be your brothers, they could be your sister, they could be your uncle, it could be your husband, it could be your wife, it could be maybe your employee. It could be anybody around you that you care about. It could be a family friend, somebody that you have invested so much in, but you now don't know what to do. These are the people that we want to think about in terms of how can we be able to help them. And I am here to confirm and to insist that the issues of drug abuse or the issue of addiction, it's a situation that can be arrested. For the last 15 years of my practice in the field of drug and substance abuse, I have seen so many people set free from addiction. I have seen people who didn't have families. I have seen people who didn't have skills, people who didn't have a job, people who didn't know where to start, sitting down with them, taking them on a journey, topping the issue of taking the drug, looking at what skills they have, adjusting their social aspect of life, speaking to them about their psychological well-being, and they come to love themselves and they believe themselves, and they decide that it's like I'll give up on the issue of having condemned myself and my poor image and the issue of anger and blaming people and all those kind of things, and they start afresh. And these are the people that I want us to also give a chance in their lives. That you have a loved one who is struggling with issues of drug abuse. They have grown up money. They have been fired from their place of work. You are threatening to leave your husband because he is on drugs. You are threatening to disown your child because they have let you down and all those kind of things. These people, they don't need rejection. They don't need condemnation. They need to be loved and to be taken in for treatment for a disease called addiction. They are addicted, and what they need is to be treated. We have looked at three things: the issue of creating relationship with our children so that as they grow up we can always guide them, and always remember that when you are giving them or you are creating this relationship, always remember they will take up after you. So much of what they will do or not do, it is as they see you do, not as they hear you say or tell them. It's more of what they hear you do, they see you do. If you are drinking, if you are smelling cigarette, if you are beating up their mother, they will do it better than you are doing today. And therefore, if you are a young parent and you are bringing up your children, create a relationship with them. If you are a parent of young people in their teenage, they have a lot of energy, you don't understand their world, be there for them, guide them, always sit with them. Sometimes we make the mistake of assuming that they don't hear or they don't care. They do care if we do care for them and show them that they care and they matter to us. And finally, those who are already hooked up, we are saying let them consider. Let us consider and help them to invest in their treatment for their addiction, because they are productive. They have books to write about. They have businesses to run. They have careers. They have families to start and take care of. And if we give them that chance, we will be amazed at how what kind of a turning around they can be able to give to us. My name is Counselor Amos Kibara. I am a public speaker, I am a trainer, and I am the proprietor of Prudent Camp Counseling and Rehabilitation Center based in Thika. You could be struggling with an issue that maybe you need a professional input in. I give you my office number, or our office number, that is 0700 345 403. Again, 0700 345 403. You can call us, you can WhatsApp the same number. You can visit us in Goigwa, in Thika. We can sit and look at how can we be able to help, be it with your own issues or any other issue that you might need somebody to listen to you about. We are here and we will listen to you. God bless you, and as you think of paying a visit to us and looking at things that could be troubling you, just know we are a call away. And that what you have not decided what to do with it, probably it's that one decision that will turn things around. God bless you.